So, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. I don't think I'll ever get 100,000, and probably not 10,000. But I'm pretty sure I've had at least that many views, 10,000 to 100,000. So if I could get you to just hit the subscribe button, I'm not. You don't have to open my video every time I get on, but uh, by doing that, you could help somebody. Let me tell you something. There is magic in helping people. If things aren't going your way and you are one of those "oh woe is me" type people, you don't have a job, uh, your relationships don't last, um, some of the things that are not happening to your friends, happen to you. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're not known for being very helpful. Okay, um, if you help people, they'll they will help you. Now, they don't have the ability to help you the way you help them, though. That's the only thing. So if you give somebody an apple and the only thing that they have to give back is oranges, well, you got to work with it. So I want you to expect to get a return on what you're giving, but people can't give it back the way you gave it, especially if you're helping someone in need. Uh, that's just how it is. Helping people should. I know I said it's easy to just hit the subscribe button, but sometimes helping people, it makes you wonder, you, well, what's wrong with this person? How come they can't get it right? Or how come they don't do at least as well as you do? Or something. Helping some people make you look at them like, oh, uh, not so swell. you know, Especially when you help people over and over again. Especially when you help people that just don't seem to get it. Those are the worst kind of people, the ones that you've been helping for the longest. But there's a story in the Bible about a man named Lazarus. And I would tell you what could happen to you if you are in this type of scenario. I'll just tell you a scenario and where it happened, and then you can go from there. So there was this man. His name was Lazarus. He was handicapped from birth, and he had some friends, or I think it was family members. They used to take him out every day, because I tell you what. Hey, Gabriel. That's one of the first names I heard this morning, and it was one of the last names I hear in prayer every night. I pray for my guardian angels to, I got four of them. I get one to stand by my bed, the head of my bed, one at the foot of my bed, and one on each side of the bed. I'm not worried about the top and bottom and stuff like that. There, I'm not going to have a guardian angels protecting me under the bed. Sheesh. And you know what? Hey, cool penguins. Grand Rising, Gabriel. Okay, so they used to pick him up every day and take him outside. Okay, I don't know how big the house was, and to be fair, he was a paraplegic. You don't have to worry about him rolling over in the bed. So you have to get the picture of what they were actually doing. So, for example, he was a paraplegic, and I think he had two, maybe four people carrying him every day. They were probably carrying him from his house or his hut or his tent or whatever they were living in. And chances are pretty good it wasn't that big. All right. Okay. So they used to take him and put him down in front of a rich man's house. So now you're getting the picture. The house that he was being carried from, now he's being laid down every day in front of this rich man's house. You know what their thinking was, you know, hey, help this guy. I tell you what, when you do well in the kingdom, people think that you should help. I don't know what it is. Most people who do well in the kingdom of heaven here on earth will help you, but some of them won't. I got a guy, he got five wives. He's not in the position to help others. Okay, so and you know what's odd about him is he wants to be around Christians. So I don't know. Go figure. Best thing I could tell you is if you find yourself in that kind of situations, Christians don't hate you for doing that, but they do hate the sin. Now let's get a couple of things straight. Marriage is not marriage is a man thing. Okay, get a license for it and everything. And if you look at the uh, thank you, big money. Now, if you look at it, the word license means to be able to practice something that's illegal. Did you know that? Hmm. Probably not, because people just told you, "Hey, you need to get a license." You know, you need a license for almost everything. If you want to go fish, you need a license. If you want to get married, they want you to go get a license. At the same time, there are other things going on. You can fish without a license, and yeah, you can be married without a license, but there's going to be a penalty for it. Okay, so kind of look at things the way God does. Most Christians will look at it the way God does, because in marriage, I mean, in heaven, there is no giving in marriage. Okay, so when you get to heaven, whoever you was married with down here ain't your spouse whenever you get up to heaven. Best case scenario, you two don't get up there at the same time. Okay, but it might be an issue if one of you gets up there first. See what I'm saying? So there is no giving in marriage. It's a beautiful plan. Okay, and besides, we all will be part of what is known as a bride, and we all will be subjected to uh, praising and worshiping a bridegroom. So kind of look at marriage right, okay? Marriage is it's a business. Marriage is you you know it's business because it has something to do with finances. Okay, one year I don't really celebrate holidays, and even if I'm in a relationship, Valentine's Day to me doesn't it didn't really mean anything. But I got married, and I came home one day and I didn't have anything for Valentine's Day. Now I have $5. Okay, so my spouse at the time asked me, "Did you get me anything for Valentine's Day?" I kind of was set back by that, so I automatically turned around and I went back out the house. I didn't give her a speech or anything, and um, there were two places that were open. One of them was a bar, and one of them was a store. And the beers back then were cheap, so I ended up getting a six pack and uh, a little Valentine's card. The only thing I could tell you is when I came back and gave her that Valentine's card, let's just say a happy wife and a happy life. I just did not have a happy day that day. Holy moly! But I didn't get it, and maybe I should have know. Maybe I should have known to say something, but I didn't because I just don't celebrate. All right. So, for example, we are currently in a season of high holy days. They're going to be coming back to back. So I will be more into the high holy days. Lent is coming up. It's a high holy day for a group of people who believe in the Lord, I guess. Um, One year I actually went and got that little lint ash um, on my head, and I worked at a public place. And I was able to get it. Actually, it was a government office, but I was the front desk person, and I was able to get it and have that ash on my head. If my supervisor had seen that, I'm pretty sure I would have had to take it off. All right, everybody doesn't feel the same. Okay, back then they were kind of into the separation of church and state thing, but when you have a relationship with the Creator, it spills over into everything. Okay, your answers will be, well, you know, there's the scripture this, or I remember well, when I got saved and stuff like that. There, you'll have those types of conversations, and it will just be part of so people will get to know that about you. Just like when you do get saved, people will notice that there is something different about you. Okay, so who knew? Okay, um, it's a wonderful experience, and the longer you do it, the longer you get to enjoy it. So do it now. What else are you doing? It's pretty simple. I accept that you died for my sins on the cross. You were buried for 3 days and you rose from the grave. All right, something like that. It's pretty simple. You don't have to get dressed up for it. You don't have to do it at church. You can do it wherever you are. Okay. Most of the things in the Bible are do it now. What are you waiting for? Okay. So there isn't really anything bad in it. What gets bad in it is the religion part of it. So uh, there are here is one of the reasons why I would tell you to go to church. Now, and there are certain types of church that I would tell you to go to. Okay, I wouldn't tell you just go find a church. Okay, and if I do tell you to go find a church, uh, let it be the kind that you understand what's being said. Someone that's making it clear. Okay, someone that's making you happy for the decision you made. Um, I wouldn't pick a church because, hey, they have their service is only 45 minutes long and you're out the door. And I heard the word of God. All right. I want you to be at a church where I want you to find out what the Sermon on the Mount is. And I think it had 5,000 people showed up for that in the desert at and there was no stores. Okay, and when you hear someone preach like that, you won't really think about the time. You won't think about where it is. There was this lady. She was a good Samaritan. I mean, there was a lady. She was a Sumerian or something, and she was getting some water from a well. And the guy who did the sermon to 5,000 people came up, and he kicked it with her for a minute or two, and she was so influenced by what he said. She didn't really have a good reputation, or if she, I'm okay, but people listened to her when she described him. and they all want to hear him. Okay, and to this day, we talk about that time, and we talk about that lady. So this is the kind. This is the thing that you can look forward to in the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Once you get a relationship with him, you're gonna start talking about him, and people gonna find out about you. Okay, and they gonna come and see and hear what you have to say. Um, every day there is someone that you can talk to. It might not be the same person. You can talk to some people until you're blue in the face about this kingdom of heaven here on earth, and it goes nowhere. And then the same day, you could talk to someone, and they'll uh, want to get baptized. Say, well, hey, there's some water over here. Maybe I can get baptized over here. You know. Um, so don't be discouraged because you try to tell people about this wonderful place called the kingdom of heaven here on earth. What an even better place up in the real kingdom, wherever that's going to be, whether he brings it down here or whether you go up there or whatever. You want to be in that group. Now, calm down. He's not taking a group to go up right now. Okay. So you can try to get into the groove now. Okay, so you're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time. Haven't you been in the right place at the wrong time long enough? What did it get you? Okay, um, I want you to be a country western song played backwards. I want you to get your housewife. I want you to get your house back. I want you to get your family back. I want you to get your dog back. Stuff that makes you happy. Okay. And if you got someone who's trying to do the same thing, you'll be all right. You'll be off the chain. If you want to find your soulmate, if you want to find your forever uh, love or spouse, somebody who is like you will probably stay with you for the rest of your life. You know, a long time ago, that's kind of what people wanted when they got into a relationship. That's why marriage is still around. People want to find someone to fall in love with and stay with. Nobody wants to go from relationship to relationship. Why? All right. I mean, one relationship is hard enough. Sheesh. And to go from relationship to relationship, you're going to find yourself at my age. You're like, I ain't trying to get into another relationship. It just takes too much out of you. The worst part about relationships that I find is I like them. It's aesthetic, but they all start off great, and something happens. I don't predict it. I don't uh, know that at a certain time I'm going to be out of a relationship. And what really kills me is I'm usually still in love whenever they end. So I'm like, okay. So that hurts. Okay. It's tough enough that you go through stuff if you're in the wrong marriage, if you're just Mr. Right Now. And that's going to be a wake up call. I've heard some stories about people who were Mr. Right Now and didn't have a clue. So I'm walking down the street and there was a fence, and I saw this guy. He was on the fence. He was a big guy, and I, I kind of wanted to cross the street, but I didn't. I just kept going, and he got up I got up to where he was, and he said, "Excuse me." I was like, "Okay." Uh, he said, "Could I use your cell phone?" So, I'm kind of giving the side eye. I'm like, oh man, if he decides to run, I'm not going to be able to catch this guy. But anyway, I digress. That's just human nature. You just don't want to hand somebody your cell phone. You know what I'm saying? So he says, man, I just got off from work and my lady was doing a trick. I'm not really sure what that meant, but I'm pretty sure he didn't mean a trick involving playing cards. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, well, wow, yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't listen to the call. I don't know if he was calling for help or anything. And fortunately, he didn't stay on there long. He gave me the phone back, and I just went on down the road. And I actually had that happen to me once. Uh, but me and my girl, we were already broken up, and I got a car. So I decided, "Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to go up and surprise her." So we had a front entrance and a back entrance. So you come across the back entrance first. So I just parked in the back and I walked up the incline hill. You know, it was a grassy knoll or something. And the door was open. We never were really uh, uh, the kind of people who would lock the door at night or checking, you know, it was one of those kinds of neighborhoods. Everybody knew everybody. So I wasn't surprised to see that the window was cracked. And if it was, I just would have tapped on it. So I popped my head in and I saw somebody sitting at the table. And it wasn't me. I was like, okay. And I smelled some bacon. I don't eat bacon. So I went into the kitchen. It wasn't that far, but I walked past the dude sitting there. He had a robe on. I guess it was. I think it was mine. I never seen a robe. I just assumed it was mine. I was like, oh, okay. He had his feet up on the chair and carrying on. And so we had a dining room table. And I walked up to her and I said, well, who's that? You know, she didn't say anything. And I'm standing right next to her, and I'm like, well, what about us? And she still didn't say anything. But back when we grew up, there was this famous singer, and apparently they didn't tell us the story, but apparently somebody threw. I think he was in the same type of scenario, and somebody threw some grits in his face. Okay, so you know we didn't see him performing for a while until his face healed or something. And I got that picture. So I decided to leave. So we did make a couple of attempts to reconcile, but there's just some things that once you see them, you can't unsee it. It's just it's not happening. Okay, so that one didn't last. But oddly enough, to this day, we have a family to still raise. So we're still kind of connected, but it's not the same. Sheesh. So anyway, I digress. Uh, Let me see. Love your apartment. Oh, okay. This is an apartment, Big Money. This is a ecclesiastical chariot. You should use that one day when somebody pulls you over and asks you for a driver's license or something. One of the things you might want to say, I don't need a driver's license. This is an ecclesiastical chariot. It's kind of like the what is that group of people who ride around in a horse and buggy and carriage? I can't think of the name of them. Uh, I want to say the Mormons, but I don't think it's the Mormons. But they're the group of people who don't use electricity and they ride around in a horse and carriage and stuff like that. There. Okay, so that's the idea of a carriage, and a carriage is actually in the description of what is a vehicle and what is not. So this is why you can see them, and the cops might pull them over, but they probably won't give them a ticket. Okay, what they consider to be a vehicle usually has a motor. Okay, so anyway, Jesus put Mary Magdalene before the disciples. Did anyone know this? And she knew things that Paul did not know. Yeah, here, let me tell you something that you might not know about women in the Bible. Jacob, who we, he is our father. We are the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, you'll hear some people say. Jacob had 12 sons and a daughter. I did not know that. And what he did was, when it was time for him to, he gave everybody land. He must have had a lot of land. Anywhere he went, there wasn't people there. It wasn't as crowded as it was. So he kind of, hey, Cole, yes, I'm back. I don't celebrate holidays, but Monday was Trump's birthday, so everything was closed, because of the Trumpers, and so I was off. Thank you, Kyle. So I didn't come in, and on Tuesday, I'm off normally because I only work 3 days a week, and one of the best parts about it is coming in here. I'm talking to you guys. So if you want, I could come on every day. That's fine. But right now, I'm just trying to get 1,000 subscribers. And if you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to yours. Help you get 1,000 subscribers. Then you won't have to say stuff like, hey, if you want to get me a cup of coffee, $ Ricky D 413, RICKEY, the letter D 413. You won't have to say stuff like that. You'll have a donate button, and people can donate if they want to get you a cup of coffee. Why don't you do it now so you don't have to think about it later? All right, so anyway, I digress. I went to preacher school. My church was offering it. It was kind of like a mega church back then. If you got like 2,000 members or so, or I guess you're considered a mega church. When we were smaller, it looked like 2,000 members because the church was so small. It had a balcony, but it didn't have balcony seats. It had those metal folding chairs. But we had to have three services on Sunday. So it was time for us to grow. So we got another building, got it all fixed up, and we didn't have to do that anymore. He still did too, but that was probably a blessing for him because 3 sermons, holy moly, and plus the other stuff you do on other days. But the thing about people, when they find a good thing, uh, the only thing I could say is uh, it. I like the new church, but I think they would have done better if they stayed in the smaller one and just added more seats. But um, I wasn't in leadership. So anyway, after a while, the bigger church we had, the membership declined, or at least people coming up there to sermons on Sunday, uh, the participants declined. So that could be because we were one of the first churches online, so they would just stay at home. That's a problem because when we were in the smaller church, we weren't online, and it was really live. It was really lit. People really liked being there. They liked the word. They liked the music, and it was something to see. I'm glad I was part of it. Okay, but as time goes on, you know how people are. They just move on, which is a good thing. Because if you are familiar with the Azusa Street revival, it's probably spelled the way it sounds. But when the Spirit of God moved on the Azuzu Street, there were new people every day, and they didn't have a sermon, 15 minutes of music. I don't I don't know if they passed the plate or anything like that there. Uh, and I don't think it was really a big place. Is is what I'm getting at. I don't think it was a mega church. So people who get those bigger churches, I don't think they knew about the Azuzu Street revival, but it was off the chain. I don't know how long it lasted, but it lasted longer than a weekend. People would come there and do things like you actually heard happen in the Bible. Speaking in tongues, speaking in holy tongues, stuff like that there. But that was kind of like a long time ago. So uh, if you have preachers, pastors, teachers, and evangelists who uh, use the church to support themselves, eh, um, or if they get a 5013C where you don't have to pay taxes and stuff, that's a whole nother level of church because um, you probably won't have a revival in that because you don't know what's going to be said. The Holy Spirit is going to show up, and if He decides to talk about homos or homo no mores, that's what He's going to talk about. So you can't have a 5013C. I believe that it is forbidden to preach that type of message in those types of churches. So don't despise some small beginnings. If you have a church with you and 5 family members in it, I think you are in a better position to have a revival. The Spirit of the Lord fall on your congregation than you do if you're a mega church, right? The mega churches, they have people who are really good at breaking the Bible down and stuff like that, but uh, I don't think they really come across getting the Spirit of God into others. Okay, they got that good head knowledge, and they could really make the Bible come alive, but there seems to be a disconnect with getting people uh, into a personal relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth. You guys are adults. I don't have to keep going over that. All right, let's see. Mm-hmm. All right, Gabriel. Nice. Thank you. I'm not really sure what I said, but if you think it was nice, that's good. So my goal is to get you to get a personal relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth. And here's one way you're going to know you got it. Number one, you're going to think about the Creator every day, and you're going to want to talk about Him every day. And I'm telling you right now, from my experience, uh, a relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth and a relationship with the church is two different things. Okay, now they do tend to be together, but it's two different things because you got people in there who they're sick, they're trying to get healed, they're trying to get a relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth, and here you come uh, doing a Zuzu type street uh, revival kind of stuff. So, for example, once in a while, during the praise and worship, I was able to enter into a particular stance where this long snot would come out of my nose. Okay, I could see it, I just couldn't stop it. Okay, and it was it would be kind of nerve wracking to someone who has a relationship with the church. Okay, because they're like, oh, he's snotting all over the place. But to be fair, I don't think it ever It never snapped. I can't say as I've ever seen it uh, hit the floor. So there's a disconnect there. Okay, I do speak in tongues. I do speak. There's two types of tongues. There is a holy tongue, okay, and there's a tongue where you speak Japanese, but you're not Japanese. You don't know Japanese. You might speak uh, Jewish, and you're not Jewish, or you might speak Yiddish, and you're not a Jew. All right, so things like that kind of happen with people who speak it in tongues. So there are two types of tongues. So one type that you can do, and you don't have to worry about if anybody wants to explain. But there's one that you do. Somebody should explain what you're saying. So it has to be interpreted. So a lot of people, I think, don't speak in uh, tongues at churches just out of fear. Oh, there's nobody here who interprets because there isn't a person assigned to every church that explains somebody talking in tongues or what someone who's talking in tongues says. So it's kind of, it's not something that people really do. Okay. So that's what I want for you. I want in the back of your mind, that little voice you hear all the time? I want that little voice to be talking about the creator of heaven and earth all the time. Okay. That's what happens to me. In the back of my head, I hear him and I want to talk about them every day. I wouldn't have no problem getting on here. I'm talking to you about it. But anyway, the daughter of Isaac, Jacob, and Abraham, the daughter did not get a tribe, but she was one of Abraham's. No, I keep saying Abraham. I mess it up every time. But she was one of Isaac's uh, daughters, one of his daughters. So, for example, the reason why I'm using him is because Jacob was the father of the tribes talked about in the Bible, but he didn't give his daughter a tribe. All right, so there's 12 tribes, Gad, uh, stuff like that. There, and each one of the tribes were one of Jacob's sons. And it, I'm the kind of person I'll be like, well, did he have a daughter? And turns out he did. I didn't know this. I knew about her and I knew her story, but I wasn't making the connection that she should have had a tribe. Jacob should have given her a tribe. So, for example, when I went to preacher school, uh, I was in I was in college, I think, and I'm trying to remember why I learned about the story of Dinah, Dinah, and when I learned about her story, it was a very exciting story, and it will let you know what some Christians will do. All right, Christians can be mean. Okay, so for example, whatever happened to her, there was no forgiveness. You might as well forget it. All right, so back then they hadn't had a relationship with Christ yet. All right, so they kind of handle that a little bit differently than somebody who would say, "What would Jesus do?" Okay, so I knew about that story. I just didn't make the connection because the preacher, pastor, teacher, or evangelist that was teaching that story didn't make it, didn't make that distinction. But I tell you one thing about the churches and the Bibles and stuff like that there, okay? Yes, it's a place to get saved, get baptized, and all that. But the role of teaching out of the Bible and stuff like that, when they used to do that, they were called scrolls. And only people who had understanding would go in to the temple. Okay? And then the people who would go into the temple would come to, would go back home. And he would teach to the people there. So everybody didn't go in the temple. All right? That's probably why they lasted so long. Okay? Because uh, everybody didn't go to the temple like we would go every Sunday to church. All right. But the people who did go, they had understanding. So that's kind of the model. If you go to a church, they wouldn't be that far off if they think you already understand something about the Bible. Okay. They are probably thinking that you are the priest of your household. Okay. So, for example, I did a baptism, or I was kind of like over it, or I was invited to do it. I don't recall baptizing the husband. And the reason why I wouldn't have done that is because I would expect that he is already the priest of the household. Get it? All right. And so I didn't actually water baptize the people in the family. I let him do it. All right. I told him what to do, told him what to say, and I let him do it. And when I gave the baptismal certificates, I didn't sign it. I let each one of them sign the other ones, because it's a covenant that they're making in the family and with the creator of heaven and earth. They're not making a covenant with me. Okay. I'm not trying to be the spiritual guidance for that family, because they would have read, if they stuck to it, they would have read by now, woman, if you have questions about what you heard in the church, ask your husband. All right. Because back then they didn't want men talking to the women in ministry or in anything like that. You know why? All right. So everybody that says Lord, Lord ain't going to get into the kingdom of heaven. Okay. I'm kind of worried about that young man who got the 5 wives right now, because even though I said uh, giving is a mankind thing or a human thing, there is no giving in marriage. Um, this could be a stumbling block when you try to move up in the church and influence people for the kingdom of heaven, um, because people are at different levels. And once they find out that you got 5 wives, it might not match up with something that they're going to learn in the Bible. That's the only reason. But I love the guy. I want him to make it. I'll talk to him about the kingdom of heaven, no matter what wife he's standing in front of me with. So uh, there's that. So you're going to reach all types of scenarios on this journey, and the best case scenario is to accept it and minister to them. It, all right, and they will tell you. I tell you something. If people have a problem or if they're going through something, oh, they will tell you. Okay, you should believe them. Okay, one of the reasons why I won't start a church is because of the people. There's people in there, and the Son of Man you're going to read about, he didn't start a church. He said, "Go ye and preach the gospel to the ends of the earth." And people who are doing that are the church, not the building. Okay, um, I like Kyle, but I don't know how well I would minister to him if we were in a church setting. Okay, I like cool. Okay, I like cool, but I don't know how I would minister to him cool Christmas. I don't know how I would minister to him after I found out about his problems and stuff like that there. And I can kind of give you an example. If you go to a church and say you want to testify, or I don't know what they call it, but you go into this booth and the preacher is on one side, or the pastor or the priest is on one side, and you're on the other side. Oh, confession. All right. And you can give them your confession, and that priest is not obligated to tell the uh, local people, hey, you might want to watch out for him. Okay. So uh, back then, they were protected from doing that. All right. But I think they're kind of losing that a little bit, because it's probably something that man created. Okay. So that's kind of falling by the wayside. And it turns out that this particular group of people have relationships that with their church members that might not be something that you would want to teach your children. Okay, so they're kind of falling off of that a little bit. And if somebody tells you something, you can say that, but the way you could say, hey, I'm a priest. This person told me something in confession, and uh, according to our religion, I'm not obligated to divulge this information. So what the other type of men did, well, we're going to take you to jail for being a conspiracy to a crime or something. I'm not exactly sure how it goes, but you kind of get the point. Um, if somebody comes in and does a confession, uh, you might want to let that person know, hey, I'm not obligated to keep this secret. Okay, kind of thing. So yeah. So I'm not trying to have a church. I'm not trying to have people tell me their plans and their secrets, or their confessions. Now I could keep a secret, and even though I divulged this story about the young man with the 5 wives, I didn't tell you who he was. Okay, so if we were in a church setting together, and if someone asked me, hey, does this person have 5 wives? I may be inclined to say, yes, they do. Okay, and I don't want you looking at me like, hey, I told you this in confidence. It is better for me to be transparent. Okay, now I'm not going to go out and volunteer that information and attach your name to it, but um, it's not a good look for me if someone's trying to come into the kingdom of heaven and ask me something like that, and I try to cover it up. It just isn't a good look, because what you do in secret is brought to the light. Okay, anybody who is on the Epstein list. Okay, all right. The only thing you want to do in the dark is uh, praise and worship. And if you got a lit candle under your bed, you might want to move that. That's the type of thing that you want to not have happen. Okay. All right. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I didn't write down any notes, but I wanted to come in and I'm check. I'm checking with Kyle, make sure he's all right. And I I did subscribe to your channel, didn't I, Kyle? If I didn't, let me know, because of the way that YouTube lets you know that somebody subscribed to your channel. Your channel can't be private. It will show that you joined or you subscribed to my channel, but it won't give me your name. So if I haven't subscribed back to you, let me know, and I'll just enter your name in and find you, and I'm subscribed to your channel that way. I could do that now because I don't have that many subscribers, but in the future, once I get more subscribers, if something like that happens, it isn't because I didn't ask you to subscribe to my channel and I didn't subscribe to yours, because I would look and see at the end of each video if somebody subscribed to my church. And the way YouTube, not my church, my channel, and what YouTube does is they'll have the name Kyle, and after that it'll say subscribe. So I'll click on it. But if your channel is marked private, it'll show me that I got a subscriber today. It just won't show me your name. So that's how that works. So you need to work out that uh, with your channel. You're going to have to change that somehow. Okay. So for example, I've liked 5,000 plus videos. Okay. So I will watch your video. If you come up, I'll open it. If you're on, whenever I'm on, I'll open it. All right. And maybe once in a while, I may be able to search and look for a name and open up your video and put a like on it or something. All right, but uh, that's going to be kind of hard to do if I got 10,000 or if I got 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to need you to be active. I'm going to need you to be doing videos so you'll come across my For You page or something. Okay. So anyway, you guys are adults. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that cup of coffee. Love ya. See ya.